Hello and welcome to the Phantom Zone. I am your host Ghost, and we made it to phase 3 of my MCU rewatch, which takes us to Captain America Civil War. I love this movie so much, so I'm just going to use this video as an excuse to talk about a lot of the things that I love about this movie. This is the best MCU movie, right? I mean, this is a perfectly adapted story from the comics, changed to fit the context and narrative of the MCU. Instead of including all the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the New Warriors, this adaptation just focuses on the established Avengers so far, and instead of the Superhuman Registration Act, it's the Sokovia Accords, but centered around the bond between Captain America and Bucky to truly make it a Captain America film. At its core, this story is about Steve's willingness to throw everything away, including his status as a hero and Avenger, his shield, and even his friendship with Tony, all to help Bucky. There's a great moment towards the end of the movie where Bucky doesn't think he's worth all this trouble, but Cap reassures him.
I don't know if I'm worth all this, Steve.
What you did all those years, it wasn't you. You didn't have a choice.
Over the last few films, we've seen Steve be pushed into the stance of not trusting organizations, and we've seen Tony act out of guilt to create security. The MCU has done a great job to show how these characters have changed, and this movie really capitalizes on that. Based on all the movies leading up to this, it totally makes sense why all the characters align themselves with the side that they choose. Rhodey has served in the government for years, so of course he's going to sign the Accords. Sam is always going to support Cap due to their friendship and because he believes Cap is right. T'Challa is only here for Bucky, so he's Team Iron Man. Vision, thinking quote-unquote logically about the bigger picture, he's gonna sign the Accords. Cap has kind of been a mentor towards Wanda, so even though she's a bit hesitant at first, her bond with Hawkeye ultimately pushes her towards Team Cap. And Black Widow just wants to keep everyone together. The Avengers are her family and she doesn't want to lose them. This movie also introduces some new heroes, and they have to be some of the best intros in the MCU. First, there's Black Panther, whose connection to the story is that his father, T'Chaka, King of Wakanda, gets killed in the bombing at the UN that Bucky is framed for. Once he finds out who did this, he goes straight demon mode.
Don't bother Miss Romanoff. I'll kill him myself.
I genuinely don't think any MCU character has had more aura than Black Panther in this movie. When Bucky first starts to leave his apartment, he comes out of nowhere to attack him and Bucky can't land a hit on him. Then a helicopter pulls up and starts unloading and the bullets just bounce off of his vibranium suit. And can we talk about his suit for a second? This is hands down one of the best suits in the MCU. The ears, the claws, the vibranium accents, and the white eyes. I could be wrong, but I think this and Deadpool were the first live action suits to have white eyes in the mask, and it works so well. He's honestly aura farming so hard in this moment. I love it. This then leads into a great chase scene through the city where Black Panther is relentless. He slides down the building using his claws, which is just a fire way to start this chase and is a touch that adds a lot to this character. Captain America catches up to him and they're running super fast through traffic, but Black Panther is not letting up. This results in Bucky snatching a motorcycle and Captain America borrowing an Audi just to help even the odds. This doesn't stop T'Challa because he is on demon time, so he jumps on the back of Cap's vehicle, uses it as a stepping stone to inch closer to Bucky, gets an accidental slingshot from Falcon, just makes it under the collapsing debris and slashes the tire out of Bucky's motorcycle, resulting in the end of the chase. Like, wow, what an intro for Black Panther in the MCU. Another character introduced in the MCU in this movie is Spider-Man, and not just Spider-Man, a Spider-Man played by an actual teenager. This also just might be the best version of Spider-Man that we've seen in the MCU. He does some pretty impressive stuff. He snags Captain America's shield, he catches Bucky's punch, 2v1s Sam and Bucky, goes toe-to-toe with Cap, helps web up Giant Man, and he's actually quipping like a true Spider-Man should.
Hey buddy, I think you lost this!
And just like every true Spider-Man fan, I am not a fan of Tony Stark just giving all of Spider-Man's tech to him, But one thing I do like that came from this is the fact that his eyes change on his mask, just like in the comics. I think this is a cool way to adapt that aspect of Spider-Man. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when, after getting arrested, Bucky gets reactivated by Zemo and goes on to solo the Avengers. He makes quick work of Sam and then throws Steve down an elevator shaft. Tony stuns him, which buys him a little more time than he should have in a fight with Bucky, but ultimately gets done up by him. Sharon and Widow both try to take him. Sharon ends up getting a WWE move put on her, and Bucky choke slams Widow. Then to top it all off, T'Challa pulls up, actually gets a few hits on him, but disappears in the end. Bucky is just so cool in this movie, and I love it. I want to talk about the airport scene for a second because we get some of the best character moments out of the MCU from this scene. This is the ultimate showdown between Team Cap and Team Iron Man, and this fight has some genuinely great moments. Widow and Hawkeye have a friendly exchange when they fight before Wanda yeets Black Widow and tells Clint he's pulling his punches. And upon a rewatch, the choreography actually seems a bit relaxed, which is a nice little detail that I never noticed before. I loved the shot of Spidey getting pulled from War Machine since there's not a whole lot that he can web swing from, plus it just looks sick. And of course the 5v5 lineup to start the fight is really cool. I feel like Ant-Man really shines in this scene. We get the famous shot of Ant-Man on one of Hawkeye's arrows. We also get to see the first appearance of Giant Man in this scene. Not to mention that I think he has some of the best jokes in the whole movie.
Oh, you're gonna have to take this into the shop.
Who's speaking?
It's your conscience. We don't talk a lot these days.
I love how the start of this fight, most of the characters are kind of pulling their punches until certain things happen that quickly escalate their emotions. Ant-Man throws a truck thinking it's a water truck, which actually explodes on War Machine. Black Panther was never holding back in this fight and is still out for blood, which of course steadily raised the stakes. And the fight ends by Black Widow switching sides to stop Black Panther's pursuit to help Cap and Bucky go stop Zemo, and Vision accidentally shoots Rhodey's arc reactor, causing him to crash hard. That should be the climax of this film, but it's not because Cap and Bucky's mission isn't over yet. After they land in Siberia and call a truce with Tony, it's almost immediately thrown away with the reveal of Zemo's true plan. Throughout the entirety of this movie, we keep being reminded of December 16th, 1991. It seems like it's the only thing Zemo wants. Bucky knows this as when he retrieved the super soldier serum and fears Zemo will awaken them. The past hour or so has been Cap and Bucky trying to stop him from awakening the rest of the Winter Soldiers, so when the three of them arrive to see that they've all been killed, they have no idea what he's planning, and neither does the audience.
What the hell?
Then it's revealed that all Zemo was trying to do was show Tony that Bucky was the one who killed his parents.
What is this?
And on top of that, Steve knew. This obviously angers Tony, and he starts scrapping. Throughout this fight, Tony is genuinely trying to kill Bucky, but Cap and Barnes are just trying to shut down the arc reactor. The end of this fight truly drives a nail through the Avengers. As Bucky loses an arm and is put back into cryostasis, Rhodey is paralyzed, and half the team are locked up, but eventually get broken out by Cap and are on the lam. There aren't really any villains, which is a part of the reason why this movie is so great. Everyone in this movie thinks they're doing the right thing. Whether that's protecting their friends, trying to keep the Avengers together, or avenging their loved ones they lost. I just have to mention quick that the stunt work and practical stuff in this movie are really well done. Same goes for the choreography. Corridor Crew has a great video where they get the stuntman who worked on this movie to break down the scenes. You should really check it out if you haven't already. And with that said, I think I'm going to leave it there. I could literally talk about every frame from this movie, but I'm just glad that I got to talk about the things that I mentioned. Overall, from the story, the action, the performances, the character moments, I think this is the best MCU movie. But what do you think? I'd love to know in the comments below. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bye.